I'd like to call to order the Hanson Board of Health meeting for today, July 12th at 4 p.m. Melissa, have you had an opportunity to look at the minutes?
I sure have, yes.
Okay, I believe Kevin is not going to be at the meeting, so it's going to be you and I.
Okay.
So I
All
don't know if you make a motion.
Sure, I will make a motion to approve the minutes from the June 14th meeting of the Board of Health.
And I will second. Roll call, Melissa?
Yes.
And Arlene is yes. The next item on the agenda is 60 Indian Head Street, request extension of their expired plan from 4/9/22.
Correct.
And was this sort of the discussion that we had recently about?
So he brought this letter, he came in a while back and asked about a plan, and I told him it was expired. And he submitted a letter that we received June 13th, which was the day of our previous meeting. So
Okay.
I told him it couldn't go on that agenda. It would have to go on the next agenda, which is today.
Okay.
And he's requesting an extension because his plan expired.
Okay, that's why I'm saying is this is sort of the same discussion that we had last month. If someone's
Correct.
plan expires, that they have to present a new application and pay the fee.
Okay. New application, is that the only thing they need, or they need plans as well? Everything
Oh,
needs to be resubmitted?
The plan's expired, so the plans would have to be updated. You know what I
Just wanna
mean?
make sure. Okay, yep.
Yeah. Melissa, do you agree with that? Because this is the same sort of discussion we had last month.
It sounds like the same discussion we had last month, unless I'm missing something about this specific situation. But we discussed not wanting to set a precedent.
Yes. Yes. So, yeah, the person
Okay.
would have to essentially start as new. Put in the application, present updated plans, and the fee associated with that.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks. So the next item on the agenda, item 3, we're going to table it because we don't have a quorum for that.
Okay.
And then the septic plans for 22 Glenwood Place. Is Grady on the call?
Yes,
Hi.
Cody is.
Hi, how's
Okay.
it going?
Good.
So I'm Cody Buckman. I am a project designer for Grady Consulting, and I'm representing Blair Smith at 22 Glenwood Place. The site is currently in need of a septic repair, and we are proposing a geomat system at the left property line, or Plan North. And we are asking for a local upgrade from the required 10 feet to 7.1 feet. In this plan that I have included erosion control in the form of silt sacks and a stockpile staging area, along with 2 retaining walls to control runoff. And the system has been placed where it is to allow for the furthest distance to wetlands and to avoid having it underneath the driveway to avoid H20 loading and a large expense according with that. Other than that, I'll open the floor back up to the board for any questions.
I just have a question. Did you address all of the engineers' concerns and turn in new plan?
Yes, I did. I provided those to Teresa yesterday.
Okay. Yeah, that would be my question.
Yep.
I don't know if Melissa has any questions.
I don't have any questions. No, I'm just looking it over. Teresa sent this out.
Yep.
I don't have any questions. No.
Okay, then let me see. He is looking for. I'm trying to look and see where the variance is. The variance was to reduce it from 10 to 7. Is that correct?
Yes, 10 to 7.1.
7.1. Okay,
Yep.
I just want to make sure it's clear. So Marissa, I think that's Melissa. That's what he's looking for. That variance, if you want to make the motion.
Sure. I'll make a motion to approve the request for a variance to be reduced from 10 to 7.1 for the septic repair at 22 Glenwood Place.
And I'll second that. Melissa,
Yes.
and myself is a yes. So you're all set.
Okay, well, thank you guys very much for your time.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Cody.
So the transfer station budget. Actually, before we get into that, I think Gil should do his report because I think that's gonna take some time to
Okay.
like go over, just to completely go through it. So Gil,
Hang on.
all right,
Okay, so everybody got a copy of it today as far as the report, as far as, the categories of septic system inspections. We've had like 5 of them, 6 going on the last month or so. The numerous housing inspections, few of them that I really can't list on the report. Type of inspections they are. Weekly water testing at Cranberry Cove, that is going well. I mean, it's always clean anyhow, but it's being done every week. Have a concern of the bees coming back, been checking that daily. They are starting to increase, so getting a little better, a little bit worse.
we
Trash
still
and-
have, yeah, I was gonna ask, are we still having problems with the trash and the other stuff going on there?
They've worked on that pretty well. I check that every day because it's getting out of control. They have caretakers cleaning it twice a day, so it's looking a lot better. But the bees will probably become an issue in the next week or so. It's getting hotter and drier out, so they're bringing them out of the ground.
Would we cover it again like we did in the past? And then tell
We have
people,
tried, but they'll burrow through the covering. We've got one area they were really concentrated on. So we've had one area to the left of the boat ramp at the end of the beach that's been covered. And this morning they were going to put on a larger tap because the bees are starting to expand into the other, swimming area.
have we posted anything wanting people not to use it because of the bees?
No, not yet. We will get close. Once they start getting into the main swimming area there, then we'll have to take action. And like I said, I check it daily, mostly early morning as far as trash goes, because the trash is out of control, and late afternoon, when the bees are actually out. They want the direct sunlight and hot weather. That's when they start coming out. So. The repeating issue. Go ahead. Any questions?
May I, Gail, hi, Melissa. How is the bee situation mitigated, or has it been mitigated in the past?
This
Beyond,
has only come out the last couple of years.
okay,
These a few years ago. The problem is with these bees, they're very hard to get rid of, and you can't, due to being in such close proximity to the beach, you can't reuse chemicals or
Okay.
repellents for them. So.
got it, okay.
And
And
there was a study by an engineer to mitigate the situation because it's not a natural sand beach. Sand was placed there. That was a natural pine grove, and it was a grassy area for a long time. And then they decided many years ago to put the sand down. But there has been a study presented to Recreation on returning it to a natural state and get rid of the sand. That'll send the bees someplace else.
Okay. And am I correct that the trash issue is improving or taken care of?
Yes, it's definitely improving. Like I said, I check it twice a day because it's getting bad there. And another issue we have, I talked to the caretakers about fishing line laying around. You have a problem. I don't know why people do it, but they don't realize how dangerous fishing is. So we've had a few instances of fishing line and a few other things that shouldn't be on that beach. So.
Okay, great. Thanks, Gail.
And the repeating issues, the rodents are, a constant issue going on here, and Hold on a second. Oh, okay, keep going. All right. Neighborhood complaints. We have a lot of neighborhood complaints, a lot of complaints about people leaving, items out for free, becomes an issue now. A lot of people complaining about it. Items are out too long in neighbors' yards, and, people want to complain about it, but there's not much we can really do about it. But we are receiving more complaints about that type of stuff, couches and girls and that type of stuff, but, we usually just give the people a call, see if they can do something about it, but there's not really in our lane right now as of yet, so. And moving on, reviewing plans, Title V inspection reports, and stickers, and the monthly fireworks call, so. Basically it in a nutshell, there's a lot of activities for the stickers and.
Okay.
Up there, so. Questions, anybody?
No, I guess, Teresa, are we still up to date right now with the stickers?
We are. Everything's been sent out. Yay!
Right.
I
No,
can tell
I
you
don't.
how many were sold.
How many?
1,320
Right.
So far?
so far, yes.
That's not too bad. Not bad at all. I don't know.
Anything else?
That's what I was just gonna ask. I didn't know if Melissa had any other questions.
No, I don't think so. Sounds good.
Okay. Gil, did you have anything else?
Well, no, we got a couple issues going up the COVID, I think, for further discussion here in the next week or so. I think, how the operation goes, I think it's, discussion that we should have, with, the chair.
Of the commission?
Go ahead.
Are you talking about the commission?
No, our chair with you and maybe somebody else, and go over a couple of things that should be presented to the commission, so.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna stop up at the office after the meeting, so you can let me know what it is then. Shall we move into the budget?
Sure.
So I'm gonna ask Teresa, because Teresa's the one that knows the ins and outs of the budget. If we could start at page 1 and go through, because there's some things I sort of highlighted that I didn't know what the initials were and what that meant.
Let me open it. Yay. Well, what did you want to know?
So carryover balances from 2021, was this in like bag sales or
Where does it say that?
Yeah.
the first
Yep.
item, FY
FY
2021 carry forward balances?
21, it's 2023.
Do I have the
The one I
wrong?
sent you was 23.
You know what? And I have 21 to 22, so that's not going to be helpful.
Well,
Let
that's
me-
This is what I sent you last week. I sent it to you on, Wednesday, Thursday.
No, but I don't know where I printed that from is the problem. So
I have the same one, Arlene.
okay,
you
so
and-
that's,
you and I-
well,
Same one.
all right. All right, so
I
it's
just
just,
opened the email that I sent you guys, and this is what I'm looking at. And it says
What-
fiscal year 23.
revised budgets, the attachment, is that what it says from May?
It
No,
says it's your budget report. It's the email that I sent you on Thursday, July 7th.
all right,
It
let
says
me go.
fiscal year 23 budget.
I think I think what you're looking at, Arlene, is it is a page that was sent to us.
Yeah,
And I think Teresa is looking at the other page 1 at the top of it says expenditure budget report fiscal year 23 budget.
Got it. So
Okay.
you're looking at, it says page, it's the very last page that I sent you.
Correct.
That's the very last page. Okay. I scrolled all the way down.
all right,
So
and I'm still looking. You said I'm gonna look and see, it says meeting agenda.
It's, yeah, because I sent you the fiscal 23 budget, and when I look at the budget, I just opened it and I looked at the first page and it was page 1, but you're looking at the last page, but it's also page 1.
Okay,
Of
so
two
now I'm
different
looking
reports.
at the 20, now I have the 23 budget.
Yeah.
But the one I have that I printed out was from
Yeah,
7/1.
it's on the same email, it's just, it's the last page, but it's listed as page 1. So, yeah.
Oh, all right, I'm bringing up the most current one that you sent. Let's see
So
if I
that is
can
the
do.
most,
Okay,
kind of like who's on first, it is confusing.
I know. So
Yeah,
even though
it
the
is.
date, oh, I get it now. I get it.
Yeah,
I got rid of that first page.
okay.
Okay. So the first page starts with contracted services, health, Board of Health, and Board of Health unpaid.
It says
Nope.
treasurer, collector, admin,
Correct.
has the, solid waste budget, and then, the health budget.
All right, hold on. It may be mixed
Page-
up.
If you open the email, it's probably easier.
It's sideways, but I'll try that.
Right click and turn it.
Rotate clockwise. There you go.
There you go.
So it
That's
is
the way it prints
essentially the
out, so-
same. Okay. So the first page, let me make sure I'm in the right place. So page 1 of this is let me go all the way back up. Expenditure report. All right, and it starts with the admin expenses, transfer station attendance, all of that.
Yeah.
Okay. It's all right, I'm on the right page. So this is actually, I can't see anything in here on this page that we could in any way decrease. There isn't anything.
No, so the actual budget is page 6 for the transfer station.
Yep. Let me go down to,
And it's with the attendance, and then it has the holiday, the wages, their expense line, electricity.
let me go back, because
It says 430, and then it says solid waste. And the
yep,
account
I'm
numbers
on that
start
page
with-
now. Yep, I'm on that page now.
Right, so this is
Yes.
all the money that we requested.
Was this for the
can't-
salaries?
Yeah, right, I mean, I don't know where you could cut anything.
No, the only other question I had on this page was, what are our indirect costs?
So the
And that-
indirect costs pay for, the town portion of their medical insurance, that type of stuff.
Okay.
You can't touch that.
Oh, no, I just wanted to know what it was, not that.
Oh, yeah. So it's
To do
employee
anything.
benefits at the transfer station, it's the town portion of it. We pay
Okay.
for that.
All right.
Can I ask a question on this? I spent some time, at the transfer station and spoke at length with Chris, who I think he's such a wealth of information. And I would love to talk at some point about how we include him in some of these discussions, given that he's there every opening hour. But I'm curious, because the attendants are town employees, why aren't their salaries and benefits coming out of the overall town taxation as opposed to specifically the transfer station budget?
Because the transfer station has an enterprise fund.
And that's why.
Their salaries are paid for by taxation, but
Okay.
everything else is paid through the enterprise fund.
Everything else related to the transfer station.
Correct.
Okay.
We did get more taxation, but at town meeting, they took away the 165,000.
which is what we needed to.
Right. I'm obviously trying to get up to speed very quickly on all of this, and I apologize if some of my questions are
Oh,
It's a
no,
lot.
they're not.
annoying, but
They're not.
okay. And the purpose of the enterprise fund when it was instituted was what? Or where would I be able to understand that?
So
fund?
we started the enterprise fund around 2014 when pay-as-you-throw went into effect.
Right,
And when pay-as-you-throw went into effect, it was the bag sales and the cost of the stickers were going to go into the enterprise fund, and the transfer station was supposed to be self-sustaining.
okay,
That's never going to happen because a lot of us thought that this was going to work, pay-as-you-throw. It's not working so that the transfer station will be self-sustaining.
right,
It's not, because the costs have gone up so much and people have gone to private haulers that you're just not going to make the money you need to sustain.
right,
It's really as simple as that. So that then, you know, you raise the price of the sticker. Yes, we've sold a considerable amount of stickers, but that money is this year. Again, I don't know if Todd can keep half of it this year and half of it next year. I don't know. We can obviously definitely ask him that. But then when that money's gone, then what happens?
right,
It's just, there's not enough money to make it run the way it needs to run unless we're getting more money from taxation.
right.
And
It
I
really
think
isn't enough.
I think in the past, people have brought up maybe if we got rid of the enterprise fund and went to all taxation, but that's not a conversation we've had.
Yeah,
FinCom had asked to that a few years ago. FinCom had said, I believe Kevin Sullivan thought that it was a good idea to get rid of the enterprise fund and just, but the board at the time didn't want to do that. Is that something the
Right.
current board wants to do? That's up to you guys, but.
I think we need to consider everything.
Right.
Include that. It's certainly on my list of considerations when I look at all of this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the costs have gone up. Well, just for example, when we first went to pay-as-you-throw, recycling was free.
Right.
We didn't pay anything for the recycling. Now we pay, I think it's I want to say it's $107 a ton. Plus we pay over $114 a load to move it from point A to point B. Plus now there's a gas surcharge on top of that.
And
so
trash
I mean,
is
that's
cheaper.
huge.
Say that again, Arlene.
So-
Sorry. I can't hear you.
Trash is cheaper.
Trash is cheaper, yes. Trash is cheaper. I think trash it's $90-something a ton. It's the same amount of money to move it from point A to point B, but it's cheaper. Not a lot cheaper, but it is cheaper.
Okay.
I guess we are going to have a conversation about the services we provide. If we didn't have an enterprise fund, what would that mean in terms of what would the transfer station look like? Would it
Right.
essentially remain the same? What changes would need to be made?
Right.
And that's probably a conversation with Todd and maybe FinCom, I don't know.
Yeah, I was thinking FinCom. Are we being reimbursed for scrap metal and cardboard?
We are.
Yes.
Okay.
So, scrap metal, I think the most recent check I got was, maybe $200. It's not a lot, but it is something.
Okay.
The cardboard is automatically deducted off of the invoice for, from ABC and New Bedford Waste. They deduct it, and that amount changes monthly depending on the market.
And
Okay.
at some point, we need to look at the rate that they're paying us to make sure that they're paying us the rate that we're supposed to be getting, because in the past, they just pay you a rate and we didn't have access to the market, but we do. So we need to do some spot checking on, are they paying us as much as they should be?
Yeah, it's like the market cost minus like less $40
Mm-hmm.
Right.
ton they pay us. But again, that fluctuates monthly.
Right. And we can get that information though from Claire, Social
Mhm.
Recycling, to make sure that they are, because some towns looked at how they were being reimbursed and they found out that the company was not reimbursing them as much as they should have been. And we've just not had the time to take a look at that in depth to see if in fact
Mhm.
they're, giving us what they should be.
One of the things that, I struggle with when I've looked over this quite a bit and thought about a lot of it. I feel like I'm missing the revenue side of the budget. Like I don't know what's coming in from the papers that I have, the documents I have. And I think that's a missing piece too. I don't know how we do a budget when we don't have access to what's coming in.
I think it's probably just not listed on the budget.
Yeah.
But we can always ask Todd for it.
Yeah. So that might
That
be
would help.
something else, Arlene. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but I know I've never done a budget without knowing what I have coming in the door.
Right. Right.
Well, we were also asked to do, to not increase the budget. It had to be we had to level fund the budget. So
Yep.
whatever was spent last year, we have to spend this year. There is contractual increases that you have to do. So,
Yeah.
For every, I don't know, for like ABC in the contract, it's, I don't know off the top of my head, but it might be like a 2 or 3% increase that you have to increase that. But other than that, everything is level funded.
Okay.
So whatever you're bringing in, it still has to be, the town still said it has to be level funded.
But I think, Melissa, are you talking like we don't know what we brought in the last fiscal year for bags?
Bags and
How much
obviously
did that?
stickers
Yeah.
unfolding as we
Mhm.
speak.
Yes.
I asked specifically about the scrap metal and the cardboard, just to understand what's coming in and what's going out.
Well, once we start meeting in person, you guys will start signing the invoices again. So
Okay.
you'll see every invoice that comes through the office.
Okay.
That's normally how it works, but because of COVID and we've been meeting virtually, the health agent has been signing the invoices. So, but anytime you want to look at all those, I scan everything that comes through the office. So if there's anything that you want to see, I have a scan of it. I scan every check, every invoice, everything, so that we have backup for everything. So anytime you want to come in, by all means, we can go through that.
Okay.
Like
And
you
I'm
have nothing else, I know.
Yeah, right. And I'm guessing Todd would have this synthesized somewhere, somehow as well.
Yes.
Okay. That might be even easier for everyone.
Probably.
Okay.
So I'm looking at what other expenses we have. Not. Nothing. Yeah, I think it would be helpful to look at the sources of revenue. I did want to ask about DEP. Where in this budget does that show up?
The DEP, the money that we have from DEP? Is
Yes.
that what you mean? I
Yes.
don't know. Hold on, let me see.
So Melissa, each year we can do certain things at the transfer station, depending on what the incentives the state is looking for us to do. Like this year, they're trying to get food waste. So they often have different categories where we can do an exercise or implement something in town and we get a credit, a point. And depending on the size of the town, the point is worth a differing amount of money. I think in the past, like every point we've gotten has been worth about $600. So we try to maximize the number of points that we can get to maximize the amount of money the state gives us as a grant.
Okay,
And so that's what I'm
I
asking
can,
about.
look up what we have in those lines, because it's not in the budget.
right.
It's in another,
And so the
program.
state has guidelines about what we can use that for, but we need to look at how it can help us offset some of the other costs.
So, in small incentives, we have $9,086. And then in DEP recycling, we have 27,768. So out of the DEP recycling, that's what I pay. I paid to have the stickers printed. I pay for hazardous waste day. Any invoices we get having to do with hazardous waste day comes out of that. The compost bins that we bought, I pay that bill out of this fund. So we do use it. There'll be more hazardous waste days in the fall, so I'll pay more of that down. I don't know. I do believe we are. I don't think it'll be in Hanson, but we are responsible for hosting with two towns.
I think
with
we're not the
Whitman,
host,
and then
but we
right.
chip in.
But we're responsible to pay a portion of it. It's generally with Whitman, and I think they added one of the Bridgewaters. I want to say East Bridgewater, but I could be wrong.
I think
so
East
we're
Bridgewater's
responsible for a
correct, yeah.
portion of that as well, and that could be probably like maybe $3,000. The DEP, the hazardous waste day line, used to be at $10,000,
It was cut.
and now I think it's at $3,000.
It's at 3.
Yeah,
It
so
was
I mean,
cut.
it's been cut significantly
Right.
over the past few years. So we subsidize that line item with the DEP money that we get from the grants.
We also need to look at the list of things that DEP allows us to spend that money on.
I have the list printed in my inbox. I look at it quite often, actually, because any invoice
right.
that comes in, I'm like, can we use the money for it? Can we use the money for it?
Then
So
you can share that with us.
Yes.
Yeah, I have a printout. Next time when you're in the office, I'll show it to you.
All right.
And it has like different things that you can use the money for.
Because there may be ways that we can offset.
Like the compost bins. That was like
Right.
almost $1,000, I want to say. And we use that money, instead of using our budget money, we use that money from the DEP to purchase those.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess it's a conversation with either FinCom or at least getting the information from Todd
Right.
to see where we have, if any, wiggle room with this budget. I don't think we do.
Well,
It's
I mean,
just
town
that-
meeting already voted on it.
Oh, yeah,
So-
but I think town meeting voted on it because they didn't know what our plan was. What are we going to do? Why are we asking for this money? What have we done in the past? They don't know our expenses, and they asked for that information and they didn't get it. And that's why they didn't vote for it. It's not that they're not going to give it to us at all. They want to know what's the plan. How are you going to move forward and make this place sustainable, or get rid of the enterprise fund and make it all tax? You know what I
Right.
mean? It's
Right.
the time to get off the fence.
Yeah, I think we need to look at the enterprise fund closer. Is that a Todd conversation, a Todd and FinCom? Who do we?
I think it's probably maybe a combination of both. I'm not sure. I know Kevin Sullivan has been deployed. I don't know who's taking over as the chair position for FinCom.
Okay.
Right.
But I think he said at town meeting that he was going to be deployed for about 6 months to a
Boy.
year.
I thought it was a year.
Was it?
Yeah.
So I don't know who is involved in who's the chair of FinCom now. I'm not sure.
Okay.
So I can't even tell you who to reach out to. I can ask Beth if she knows who the chair is.
I
Um,
know one of the guys. I can reach out to him and ask him who's
Yeah.
taking on the chair, or who is the vice chair.
I don't know. Anytime I
Because-
ever had a question, I just would ask Kevin
That's
Sullivan.
Kevin. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
don't think I've ever gotten a clear understanding of how the enterprise fund is created and works. And that would be helpful. And I don't know
I
if
believe
Todd
it was
is the one
voted
to
at
do
the
that.
meeting.
But there must be a process for enterprise fund. It's got to be a legal.
Oh, I'm sure there is, but I believe there was an article to create it at town meeting.
Right. And didn't the commission, who else has an enterprise fund, or do they no longer have it?
RecCom is the only other enterprise fund.
And they have one.
Recreation. Yep.
Okay. And they're
Mhm.
they're self-sustaining at this point, so it's not an issue for
Right.
them.
I
But
know
yeah,
they were doing better than they have been. I think COVID really kicked their butts, but I think they're on the up. They're on the upward end of it. So I don't think they're having the issues they're having.
No,
I feel like it's two different. It's also two different
Two different animals.
animals.
yeah.
We're the transfer station is a service to our citizens, and it
Mhm.
greatly benefits the town. Whereas the rec has entertainment and things where they can
Weddings, and it's not just a town
Yeah.
thing.
right. They can charge differently, and we have such a small budget as it is, and we can only charge our citizens so much for what the service is that they're getting. So there's just not a lot of wiggle room. Plus, we're in this massive financial crisis in general.
Right, in general.
As a country. So yeah, they just don't seem comparable to me.
They're not.
The enterprise fund for rec, and then us, or transfer, I should say.
So we'll have to continue this conversation, find out what we can for the next meeting about the enterprise fund and what that entails. If we decide, do we need to get rid of it? I'm sure we'd have to go to town meeting, and there would have to be a vote. And
Right.
then what benefits are there of our getting rid of that? And then, sort of going just on taxes.
What, Arlene, what are your thoughts on us involving Chris Callahan in some of these, or inviting him to participate in some of these discussions? This is really simply my idea, because I learned so much from him in a very short period of time, and I have a lot more to learn. But I mean, he's invested, he's smart, he's been doing this a while, and he lives and breathes that place. No pun.
Oh, I know. I don't know at this juncture, talking about the enterprise fund in FinCom, that would be helpful.
Well, just getting his ideas and seeing if he has any particular thoughts. And I don't know if this is something you want to take on, Arlene, as the chair, around ways to help the transfer station sustain. But I know the way I feel about this is that, and I think transparency is so huge here, but we're making decisions about a place that we spend very little time. And I feel like his input is so important for transparency and just for us to make sure we get a very clear picture of what it takes to operate that place day to day.
Right. I probably spend a lot more time there than you do.
Yes, absolutely. And that may be the case too.
I do. And I have for a while.
Yeah, sure. Well,
I in terms of the enterprise fund, I don't know how he could help us with that and with FinCom, but that's not to say he couldn't have other ideas
right.
about,
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that I don't, but I with the enterprise fund, I don't, I think between Todd and the FinCom, they're the ones that are gonna have to advise us about that. I mean, he talks to me all the time about, like, when I went up the other day, he said that he thought this was the smoothest transition and stickers. He liked the way it went. He liked how easy it was to show people how to use the QR code and to sign up right there. And I don't think he didn't have as many people yelling at him because the transition was smoother. But he
Right.
thought that this was the best yet.
Right. And maybe I wasn't clear. I'm talking more in general about the operation of the transfer station than necessarily about the enterprise funds and transitioning.
Okay.
So, you know,
All right.
it sounds like he had been involved in the past with, discussions with the board or the chair when there were questions that came up in a more formal way. So it's just something I'm putting out there.
Okay.
Because I think we need his input as we move forward.
We definitely, yes. Once we figure out how to get the money. And so we're going to need to get this stuff done before our next meeting in October, town meeting, so that we can present. And what the Board of Selectmen had wanted for the warrant was a business plan. And that's what they want presented to them. How are you going to move forward and, exactly show us the steps? What are you doing? How does that impact the budget? That's what they wanted. And I think if we present that to them, then when it goes to town meeting, there's not going to be pushback.
So best way to involve Todd, and what's the next steps, I guess, is my question. In terms of starting this discussion about the enterprise fund.
I can find out who the vice chair is, and then see if we need to start talking with them about this, or if we need to talk to Todd, if Todd is a resource. I don't know. Do you want to talk to Todd about the enterprise fund? And I can talk to FinCom.
Sure, that's great. Let's divide and conquer.
Yes, and then we can either. I'm thinking, do we want to wait till the next meeting? I think the next meeting should be. If not, we could post a meeting to talk about that specifically. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like this is a crunch. We only have 2 meetings?
Yes.
August and September.
Yep.
And this is a big topic. It's a big topic and a big proposal. So I do feel like we need more than just 1 or 2 meetings.
So do you want to, I'm trying to see, what is a good date? Are we looking at 3 weeks? And I don't know what Kevin's availability is going to be. We'll have to reach out to him. How about August 2nd? Are you available that day?
I will make myself available, yes.
Okay, because we could do sort of maybe a meeting on August 2nd and then maybe another meeting, a regular meeting on the 16th. But
yeah,
to address the budget, definitely on the 2nd.
Yes.
And whatever information we've been able to get from FinCom and from Todd to move forward so that we can come up with a plan.
Yeah.
It has to be ready to be presented in probably the end of August. We might need to meet more. I'll find out when the warrants are due, because I feel like they're due the end of August, September for October. Because I'll find out what the dates are, so we'll know what our deadlines are.
Okay.
To get that done. Absolutely, because it has been pushed and pushed and pushed, and there's no more pushing it.
There isn't. No. Okay. All right. So I will
plan that. So any other questions on the budget? Any other things that you didn't know?
I'm just looking through my big long list here. I don't think so. Not for right now, anyway.
All right, we
Those
can
are-
always talk about it at
Yeah.
that meeting on August 2nd.
Yep,
So
absolutely.
are you setting the next meeting date for August 2nd?
Yeah, but I don't know if we want to just do budget then and then do the regular meeting on the 16th.
I'm away the 16th,
Okay,
and I'm also away the 23rd.
we're gonna find you.
To find me. I'll be fine.
You're gonna be at
Um,
Disney. I know where you'll be.
Here, but somebody else would have to do the minutes. Which is fine by me, but
Okay, so do we want to make the 2nd and the 9th? 2nd for the budget stuff and the 9th for regular business.
I can do that. This is Melissa. I can do that.
Okay,
okay. The 2nd and the 9th?
the 2nd and the 9th.
In person, correct?
In
Yes.
person.
All right.
So we
Okay.
have our information that we have to get.
Yes, I
Um,
will get right on emailing Todd and
Yep, and I'll reach out to the person that I know on FinCom and ask who their chair is. I don't even know if I could, yeah, I probably can't look it up on the town website, but I'll reach out to him and ask who's sort of doing that now and who can help us answer some questions.
okay.
Okay, I had
Teresa,
one of the,
Oh, sorry.
No, go
Arlene.
ahead.
One final thing on the transfer station budget. Teresa, Todd's email is on the town site.
I will get it to you.
Okay,
I'll
thank you.
email it to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
and then I had one more question that I kept forgetting to ask, and this is for Gil. Are you doing the communicable disease report on Maven?
Yes, I haven't figured out how to do that yet. I gotta do that manually. I'm monitoring it. A lot of the contact tracing is not being done anymore, but I am monitoring it and,
But I'm
Okay.
talking about all the other
No.
communicable diseases.
I end
Not
up doing
just
it
COVID.
manually. So, I am following up on it, but, as far as doing a report on it, I have to do a manual report by hand, like, V&A used to do it on an Excel sheet or something.
No, I mean, are you printing the stuff that's reported to us by town? When I come up to the office, I will, we'll take a look at Maven and I'll see if we can figure out, this is the monthly report that the VNA did for us, where they told us how many cases of Lyme or how many cases of communicable diseases were reported in the town of Hanson. That's the report that I'm talking about, not COVID.
Yeah. Not
That's
sure
a
if that was, I
separate.
believe they did that out of Excel. When I talked to them before about that, they did that on an Excel sheet. We can
Yeah,
look
but
at it. Come up.
I will, when I come up, we'll take a look and see if we can find that information. That was my only question. So
All
do I get a motion?
Motion for.
Adjournment? Unless you have more that you want to talk about.
I just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing something else. I'll make a motion to adjourn, Arlene.
Okay, and I will second that. Melissa,
Yes.
in favor, and Arlene is in favor. Thank you.
Okay,
All right,
thank you.
bye.
Bye.
Bye.